I think one of the secrets to my success is not only being self-reflective, but being rather hyper-vigilant and proactive about the people that I deal with and the companies that I deal with. I'm constantly looking and saying, why didn't that work, or why didn't that work? And so I've recently been amalgamating some of the challenges, and I found one big thing that really jumped out at me that I wanted to share with you that you can avoid to get a lot better results in your nomad capitalist life. I'm going to tell you that one thing right now. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson. Here's the one thing that constantly bothers me in people, in institutions, in the level of service, in everything. Here it is, the corporate world. The word corporate is a word that I never wanted to be a part of. Since I was 11 or 12 years old, I wanted to be in business. Before that, I wanted to be an author. I never had the goal to go and be, a CEO or to work in that corporate world. And so what I've found fascinating, having reflected on this in recent years, is just how difficult it is for me, and I think for a lot of nomad capitalist-minded people, to deal with anything corporate. Let me give you some examples, because it's a lot broader reaching than you might think. I spent a lot of time over the last many years traveling around the world, and as I've become more and more comfortable and as I've become more attuned with myself and what I need, I said, I'm going to stay in nice hotels. And I decided to hook up with one of the hotel chains. In my case, it was SPG and then Marriott. And I stayed in their hotels. And it was funny because I found myself enjoying the hotels, enjoying the decor. I love being surrounded by comfortable atmosphere and art on the walls. I like having things well decorated, and their hotels offer that. But I constantly found something lacking. I constantly found myself being a little bit anxious. And it finally hit me. After years of doing this, it finally hit me. These hotels are corporate. These are hotels where all the staff are trained in a corporate environment. Okay, what is corporate? Corporate is everyone's always trying to cover their own butt. Corporate is we speak in platitudes and buzzwords. Corporate is we're trying to climb the ladder. Okay? Those are things that as an entrepreneur, as someone with a global mindset, I don't understand that. I've never grown up. My father was in business for himself. I've pretty much always been in business for myself. I never was around that. And so there was no way for me to look at it and be like, oh, this is like what the people in the cubicle were doing when I worked at that insurance company at 25 years old. I never had that. But what I found out now is whether it's a hotel, whether it's a bank, whether it's anything, the more corporate something is, the more there's that corporate hierarchy, that corporate structure, that corporate mindset, the more at odds it's going to be with my nomad capitalist lifestyle. Now, I'm not opposed to businesses having policies, and that's not what I'm trying to say. Obviously, here at Nomad Capitalist, we have policies. We don't just take anyone who comes. We have certain standards. But we try and do it with an entrepreneurial mindset of trying to help people, of trying to keep things lightweight, right? I mean, I interact with everyone who works here at Nomad Capitalist all the time. We don't have managers upon managers upon managers. And what I try and tell our team, and what I really emphasize, is if you make a mistake, admit it. Admit failures. I think that admitting failures is a great way to move forward. It's almost like when you go to an AA meeting and you've got to say, I'm Andrew, I'm an alcoholic. I'm not really an alcoholic, but like when you go and admit, like, here's a problem that I have. You know what? I made a mistake. What I found so much in the corporate world is it's backstabbing. No, it's his fault. And there's never any progress because people just continue to just sit in that mind of self-preservation rather than growth, rather than improvement. And so one of the interesting things that I found, visiting all these hotels is, you check into the hotel and they say, hey, do you want us to bring you some tea to your room? I said, that'd be great. And then they forget, and you saw, hey, did you forget my tea? Oh yeah, we're very sorry. Okay, sure. And we can all be forgiving. But in the course of a 1-week stay, when they make 18 different mistakes, eventually you get kind of angry. And you're like, why don't you guys get it together? Excuse me, sir, we apologized. Like every apology, we reset, and we have to go back to the beginning. And I guess what I've learned is when I ask myself, who enjoys this? Who enjoys nothing working quite as it's supposed to? And it dawned on me, right? If you're the Marriott, if you're the Marriott chain of hotels, you appeal a lot to people who are road warriors from the corporate world, okay? And if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably not going to feel as comfortable there as you would in a more boutique hotel. I know some people like Airbnbs or apartments or that kind of thing. It took me a while. It took me longer than it should have to figure this out. Banks are the same way. What's one of the reasons why I like banks like the banks in Georgia or Armenia? Why? Of course a bank is corporate. Banks are the ultimate in corporate. In fact, I would almost rather deal in many cases with a government than with a bank, okay? But when you find the good banks that, yes, they're corporate, but they somewhat isolate that and keep it away from you, and you just deal with the fun parts and you just get what you need, that's why I like those banks a lot more than banks where it's like, very regimented and very unapologetic. So I think that this is something important to keep in mind. What I'd love for you to do is leave a comment with your ideas below, because this is kind of a new idea. A lot of times I come on here and I say, here's how to get your residence permit. This is something that I have been thinking about for some time, and I thought would be interesting for the Nomad Capitalist audience. And so I'd like to hear your comments on certain institutions or types of companies that you've dealt with where this is a problem. Perhaps you've seen this, perhaps you're smarter than I am and you picked up on this a lot earlier. But I think that my new perspective when I'm looking to source a vendor for something, when I'm looking to find a company, whether it's for hotels, for whatever, also when I'm looking to hire someone, is how corporate is this organization or how corporate is this person? If someone is corporate minded and they want to come and work for me, they're going to fail, because I recognize and I reward people who admit mistakes. I recognize people who are a little bit undiplomatic and who just say it like it is, and we just cut out all the buzzwords, all the gobbledygook, all the nonsense. It drives me crazy. Let's just get to the bottom line. Let's just get to the results. And that, to me, is the big difference. If you're an entrepreneur, you are the antithesis of the corporate world, because the corporate world, by the very word and all the hierarchy involved, is not results-oriented. Yes, corporations want to make profit, but within the organization are these cogs in a wheel where there's lots, it's like we're all over the place rather than straight line to profit, straight line to results. And this is something that I would seriously consider, that if you're doing hiring, if you're looking for vendors, or even, as I said, if you're just traveling or living your life, you look at things through the lens of how corporate is this. I think you'll have a lot of success and you'll save yourself a lot of headaches doing that. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. I wrote this book, which you can find on Amazon, to distill a lot of the stuff we talk about in these videos and a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last decade plus traveling all around the world, teaching you about how to legally reduce your taxes, build your personal freedom, and create wealth faster. Definitely get a copy of this book if you want to learn more. Now, if you want to watch more videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notifications bell so you never miss one of our new videos with more tips on how to go where you're treated best. And if you're already a 6- or 7-figure entrepreneur and you'd like to put these strategies in place for yourself, go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn about how I can help you.